Have you been thinking recently, man, I'm getting way too good at chess. My elo is getting too high. I need to get worse at chess. Well, today I'll be teaching you how to get worse at chess. You might be annoyed at the fact that you keep beating all of your opponents. You might be annoyed at the fact that your piece placement is always incredible. Well, good news. I'm here to teach you how you can get worse at chess, how to make your rating go lower. And I will be using viewer games to teach you how to do that. In today's game, we have Clax DD, who is rated 917, versus Tanmay player 42069, very nice, who is rated 884. Now, these two players are brilliant people. They are absolutely brilliant, but not on the chessboard. On the chessboard, they are going to be very instructive when it comes to learning the art of how to place your pieces in a way that's more disadvantageous to you than your opponent. Okay, let's start off the game. I am going to flip this around. E4, C6, D4, C5. Now, one thing that you do need to remember as a new player who's trying to get worse, always make sure that you memorize the first couple moves of your opening and play those exact same moves every single time, no matter what your opponent does. Let's keep going. E5, C5. We have the Caro-Kann, also known as the Caro-Cant in many variations. C5, attacking the pawn on D5. We have knight to F3 and pawn to E6. Okay, pretty standard stuff to start out. You could be playing worse, however, it's all right in this position as well. We have knight to C3. Pawn takes on D4, attacking the knight. The knight takes back, and then we have bishop to C4. Bishop to B4, I apologize. Now, one thing you need to remember as somebody who's trying to get worse at chess, always pin your opponent's knights if you can. Every single time you have the opportunity to pin your opponent's knights with your bishop, then do it. The knight is clearly and obviously a better piece than the bishop. So if you can pin your opponent's knight to his king, then do it immediately with no thought of whether or not it's a good move. Okay. We have bishop to D2. Obviously, white is playing as a bozo, giving up his knight for the bishop, which is an awful trade. Yes, here we go. Perfect. If you're trying to get worse at chess, always trade bishops for knights. If you can take a knight and give away your bishop, that's obviously the thing that you'd want to do as soon as possible. Okay, the bishop takes back, and then we have knight to C6. Now, white plays knight takes on C6. Another thing to keep in mind, if you can take an opponent's piece and it's an equal trade as far as material goes, always do it. Never, ever look at the fact of whether or not it's good or bad for you. So if somebody offers you a knight trade and you can give away your knight and get a knight, don't take any more than 2 seconds to take the knight. Always take it immediately. Okay, the pawn takes back on C6. We play bishop to D3, white, and then pawn to F6. Another thing to keep in mind, if you can open up your king side, open up your king side, especially if you haven't castled yet. Good tip to keep in mind. All right, pawn takes on F6, knight takes on F6, white castles, something that you probably wouldn't want to do if you're trying to get worse at chess. And black, of course, knowing that this is what he should be doing here, he plays pawn to D4. He does not castle his king, he does not develop a piece, he pushes a pawn in the center of the board, attacks the bishop, and leaves his king in danger. White responds with bishop to B4, and now black is not allowed to castle, which is what black was going for, of course. We have knight to D5, attacking the bishop. On the surface, it doesn't seem like too bad of a move. However, it does allow white to play the move queen to H5, and with the move queen to H5, the king is no longer allowed to castle, and if you play pawn to G6, then the bishop takes on G6. And you can't take back because then you take the rook with the queen and a check, and you'll need to move the king to D7. So instead of doing that, white does bring the bishop back because his bishop is under fire, of course, and we have e5. Another thing to keep in mind, trying to get worse at chess, make sure you don't castle when your king is in maximum danger. Right at the point when your king is in maximum danger, that's when you want to make it even worse with a pawn push like e5. And white does play the best move, queen to h5. After g6, then white plays a very logical move, queen takes e5, and black actually plays the best move, king to f7. Very well done by black. However, if you're trying to get worse, not a good move. Play rook to e1, rook to e1, and here white plays the brilliant move of check, queen to f4. Now this is a fantastic move for white if he's trying to get worse at chess, because what it does is it immediately blunders a queen. Great job by white. And then, of course, to end out the game, mouse slip, and instead of taking the rook on e8, play rook to e7. And that's how you get worse at chess. All right, that was good.